The bedrock of any civilization, and if you take down any institution, you might just as well be taking down an entire generation. This is News Focus. My name is Marshall Anthony Onoya. It's the program where we bring you in-depth analysis on issues making the rounds on the news daily. Sometimes those issues and discussions can be quite heated up here, such that we have debate. Our phone lines also are usually open on this show when we have our audience, live audience, call in to contribute their own 1 cent on the program. On today's edition, we will be concluding a part 2 series in the discussion, the continuous shutdown of schools, as the members of the National Association of Proprietors and Proprietors of Schools in Nigeria here protesting and lamenting the continuous shutdown of schools in Nigeria. We'll take a break, and when we return, myself, host of the show, and guests in the studio will be here as we take you full throttle into our discussions. And like I said also, phone lines will be open and we'll have your contributions. Stay with us, we'll return.
Because of you, Lovell Plus spanned all around the world. Because you gave, the Word of God spiraled into homes and lives in the world all over, bringing the gospel to millions, wroughing miracles with signs and wonders following. It's been 10 glorious years with an avalanche of testimonies. Our story won't be complete without you. Thank you, our esteemed partners. You made it happen. It's our festival of vibes.
Welcome back. It's still News Focus, and like I did say before the break, we would be concluding a part 2 series as we discuss the continuous shutdown of schools in Nigeria, especially given as the members of the National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools in Nigeria have lamented this situation. In just very recent past, we had the Minister for Education, Malam Adamu, announce the closure of schools following an initial announcement by the Minister of State for Education on the a resumption of examinations for terminal classes and the West African Examination Council. We had that last on our previous edition on Monday, and we had Ayodele Chukwuma Isibo, who is the NAPS PRO, Obafemi Owode, as a guest on that episode. We also had Dele Joy, who is the PRO, NAPS in Magboro, and both had to lend their voice to calling on the government to reopen schools and calling on stakeholders as well. On today's edition, we would be having the NAPS representative from IBA4, NAPS coordinator Ademo Folashade, in the studio, who is live here. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Yes. And from last week's edition, Ayodele Chukwuma Isibo is still joining us. He is the NAPS PRO, Obafemi Owode. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Masha.
Good. Now, if you notice today, I just wanted to go straight into discussion, unlike we did last time. We had preambles, we had the videos of the Minister for Education, Minister of State for Education. We had quite, voluminous introduction, and I do know by now it is no longer news to people that schools are shut. And there is already an agitation, a rising one, for schools to be opened by various stakeholders in the education sector. And that's why we want to go straight into discussions. I'd like to let our viewers know that our phone lines are already open. We'd like you to be a part of this discussion. Call us tell us what you make of this decision by the federal government to continue to have schools shut down against several voices that have said, look, schools shouldn't be shut down. So Ayodele Chukwuma, you would agree with me that we should go with the ladies first today and sample her opinion. Earlier on, we were together on an earlier show. The Breakfast Show is our flagship morning show, and I had her and some other person who representative from NAPS on the show. I guess she would be joining us before we round off. And we started off the discussion. There wasn't enough time. And I said, look, let's come on News Focus. So just to create a background for people who are just joining us now.
Thank you very much. Like, something that we need to know is that education is the future of our children. The future of this generation is education. So once the education is locked down and closed down, that means the future is locked down. The future is actually freezed, let me put it that way. And so that is why we are calling on the government not to freeze the education of these children, to open it up for them so that the future, Nigeria, can come up tomorrow. We are clamoring, we are calling the attention of the government to release especially the basic classes we're talking about, the primary 6, the GSS 3, and the SS3 that are going to write WAEC. There is no reason why they have to stop them from writing the examination, because it is the exam. Many of them have paid. The parents have paid. Everything is intact. All the necessary things that we're told to put in place are all intact. Everything is. So I see no reason why the government will have to stop this examination. So that's the major reason why we're here, to call the attention of the government, to beg them to release these children and allow us to write the examination.
Okay. The man of statistics, you were here last time on the show, and we were reading through statistics. Just today, you called my attention to an incident that happened where an artisan, I think a welder, raped a 12-year or a SS2 student, girl, an SS2 girl, who happened to have been hawking instead of being in the classroom, and you blamed that on the continuous shutdown.
Thank you, Marsha, for that one. Let's even go to it. I have some data. I know, according to statistics in Nigeria, from January till last Monday, when we had this program, the statistics says that 717 girls or ladies have been raped in Nigeria. Now, when you now put in school children who are under closure, that number will surely rise. So rape cases are increasing, and you are actually putting, it's like putting a sheep in a wolf den. If girl child are in the school, you won't see cases like this. And that's not the only thing that is on. Many other social vices are also currently on. Like I said, government said schools should close. But kids, especially boys, they are in the field playing. Some of them have joined some other gangs. I'm very sure, even in the university, you have courtesan. Very soon, this little lockdown is going to breed more kids, even in the secondary school, who will be courtesans. And we're not saying one thing. The only thing that can stop it is when students are in school. Let's look at some other countries that never even locked down, like Denmark. We look at their own cases. Per capita, Denmark has 6 per 1,000 deaths. When we did the computation of Nigerians' own, it was 0.36 per thousands of deaths. And I look at it, what is per thousands of infections, infected people.
Victims, yes.
Sorry. Dead per infected people. We now look at it. If Denmark that has so much a large number, I'm telling you, if US today as the Denmark number, Donald Trump will celebrate a street party. Not to not talk of our own, which is 0.36. So I now look at it, what is the hula baloo about this story? What should it be? So this is the opportunity for government to say, please, this is the best time for children to actually come back to school. Let me even actually tell you, according to World Health Organization, which I want to read out, it said, available evidence from contact tracing reports by countries suggested that asymptomatic infected individuals are much less likely to transmit this virus. According
Emphasis on most less
likely to transmit this virus. I went to UK Research and Innovative Group. This is what they say. Children are more likely to be asymptomatic or mild symptom. So when you now said children will infect themselves in school, the data did not match. We should listen to science and data. That's how the world works. Data matters in everything. Now, when you now look at this story, it is even better for students to even be in boarding school than to be with their parents. Let me be frank with you. Most of these parents go to market. I went to market. I virtually found that I was the only one that was wearing mask. Okay, you will still see some other people wearing masks. They'll put it in their chin. I accosted one person, saying, why are you putting this mask in your chin? He said he doesn't want law enforcement harassment. That's the reason why he felt he will use masks. Though I said, even if government wants us to help this pandemic, if you have asked people, wear masks for 1 month, whoever has it, symptoms will flow, and before you know, everything will die down. But not locking down school. Even the parents that have gone, some fathers are marketers. When they get to work, they are going from one place to the other. The mother goes to the market. They are more likely, the children are more susceptible to infection in the house than in the school.
Okay, well, I'd just like to bring in our viewers. Now, our phone lines are already open. You should be seeing the numbers to call on your screen. We would like you to call us, and let's have your thoughts on the continued shutdown of schools in Nigeria by federal government. What do you make of this? I have representatives from the National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools in the studio. We hear that Oyo State government has gone ahead to, take a decision on opening schools. How are they able to do it against the pronouncement by the federal government, Mrs. Ayodele? Yeah. Mrs. Adeyemo, sorry.
Thank you very much.
Adeyemo.
You see, that is one of the things we're talking about. We talked about politics. I'm sorry to say that anyway. We're talking about politics. I know that Oyo State is PDP.
Okay.
The other pronouncement came from APC.
The APC. At the center.
At the center. And sometimes they used to say that, oh, I want to follow my party.
Yes.
Or I want to follow this, And let's just go straight to the point. Looking at Oyo State ever since they resumed, I've never heard that there is any increase on coronavirus pandemic issues and the children that are in the classrooms. We have never heard. I am from Oyo State, but I have my things in Ogun State. But I've never heard. So, which means that these little children, just like he has said so far, the little children are less vulnerable to this infection. So therefore, the Oyo states that have gone ahead, it's wonderful. So what is stopping our other parts of the country not to resume? There isn't anything stopping us not to resume. They put on the necessary thing in place. We are, as a private school owners, we have put everything in place. The public school might not be able to do all those things in other states, but we have done that. So we are just appealing to the government to give us a go-ahead so that we can move. Just as the Oyo State has moved in, we can move in and things will work fine for everyone.
Okay, let me bring in Adele here. What do you make of this politicking that is going on regarding opening of schools? Like I've said, Oyo State opening, and she said, look, it might just be a party thing or an anti-party thing.
Politics.
Yes. Let's even be frank. For school to open, school is under exclusive list. It's not on federal government purview to tell us that school should open. It is states. If Governor Makinde believes that, yes, if Governor Makinde believes that, yes, it is good enough for Oyo State students to go to school, I love it. Fantastic governor. I love that one. But let's even look at it. In the western part of Nigeria, Chief Obafemi Awolowo started this. He had a vision that the only thing that can help the society is education. I am very sure there is no governor, even in the western part of Nigeria, that will keep children at home. Already, people are already complaining. You understand me? Let's not politicize it, because anything that has to do with education should not be politicized. The indices are there. The statistics are there. It supports any governor who wants to open school in all its entirety. It supports governors who want to open school. Let's even look at the fact. The Minister of Education said one of his main reasons why he said he won't open Unity School is the dormitory. And we now look at it again. Only 2 hams in secondary school. Coming into school, it is so infinitesimal. The distancing is already there. Because a student that came to write WAEC can even commandeer 5 bunks of bed for himself. Within each of their hall, they can space them very well.
Because the entire other 6 levels are not in school.
But let's even look at this, sir. I also have a solution. Rather than the federal government thinking that, okay, it's dormitory that is the problem, if they have approached WAEC, all registration of WAEC are online. A child that residents in Kano and is schooling maybe in Lagos, King's College, or wherever school is going to, I'm sure if they approach WAEC, WAEC can domicile his exam in his state of residence. So those children will not be coming into school as boarding. They will be coming out there to even do the exam. And if we keep talking about boarding issue, government can say, okay, all those who are outside their state of residence should relocate back to the university school in their state of residence. And therefore, the insinuation that it is boarding we're talking about will completely be eradicated. So therefore, school can commence, exam can commence.
You know, I was talking with Mrs. Isibo earlier on our breakfast show, and she was narrating how these public schools, which she feels is the bane of this entire discussion, given their large populations. And she was telling me how some of these public schools are highly populated, and also how a particular examination was to hold in one of those schools, and heaps of dirt were swept out of those classes. And she also went ahead to enumerate to me how private schools are far more ready than these public schools. And I thought to myself, why not then strike a private-public or public-private partnership with the private sector, with the private schools? You know, if the federal government had thought unitary or public schools might be the issue given their population, which we all have attested to, as Mrs. Isibo also had attested to earlier on, why not then strike a partnership with the private sector, with the private schools, bring some of these guys in the public school and, you know, filter them into the private sector? Wouldn't that work?
It will work perfectly. Now, like I said, in the community school in my area, when we went there, you have about 150 students in a class. How will that, there can't even be social distancing in that. But if we are to merge government, public, private, unity, private school, just invite us, invite the government can invite the private school, and then we talk, we match, we find a way of bringing things to work perfectly. Now, in the school, we have so many, private schools are more than the public schools. They are more. And then if, for instance, let's say in Ogun State now, in Ibafu, for example, we have just one private public school. And I'm sure we'll have about maybe over 100 private schools. And they have schools, they have spaces where we can use. So by the time the government comes, call the attention of the private school owners, they call our attention, we talk, and then we just have, how will I put it? We have,
modalities.
Yes, we have such, and then we have, you come here, there will be a better way where we can do it, and then the enough classrooms, the enough space we're talking about, we have it, instead of folding everything to.
That would be awesome, I think. That would be awesome
will.
to strike a public-private partnership.
I love statistics. Let's go back before 1980 election. From 1979 downwards.
Hold your thoughts. We have our first caller from Katsina. First caller from Katsina is Aminu. Where are you calling us from, Aminu? Or rather, you're calling us from Katsina, you say. Yeah, what's your contribution today, Aminu? Okay, we lost that call. Call us back. Aminu from Katsina. Call us back. Let's have your thoughts.
Let's go back to data. Before the First Republic or Second Republic, during Shehu Shagari's administration, okay, schools were actually twice, morning and afternoon. I went to school morning and afternoon. If government feel that, okay, we need social distancing for a while, why don't you split their school into morning and afternoon? For a while, maybe for the next first term, until normality comes to place. That's number one. One choice. Second choice again. If you still feel in the 70s when we have congestion in Lagos, on Lagos Road, we used to have odd number, even number. Turn to school to odd number, even number.
In plate number, license plate registration.
License plate number.
Cars
Turn like JSS1, odd, JSS2, even, continue like that. And say, or you just take only JSS. JSS will resume for 1 week. Do the most important subject for 1 week that you cannot do online. The next week, they will be on online. Why the SS resume? Spacing is already there.
Ration it.
Many things. Let me be frank with you. The last time I tried to check the population of Federal Ministry of Education staffs, and I'm saying it, and I actually want a small debate on it, if the Minister of Education says, any of my staff, give me a modality to write this exam, WAEC, and resume school without issue, and the person will get promotion to the next level. I am telling you, including the gate man will get promotion. Let the minister also
because they
use
all
the
prefer
resources.
solutions.
They will prefer solution, exceedingly solution. The solutions are not far-fetched. It is not rocket science. We only need just to come down and discuss.
All right.
Normally, when we have a problem in school, we resolve it by debate. Let the minister invite us for debate. Let's see how we cross.
Fantastic there. Mr. Ayodele, I'd like to retain you while I let Mrs. Adeyemo Folashade leave us. But in the meantime, because we will still be talking statistics, earlier on, before the show, you were telling me of how some of a particular state or council in Ogun State that has been said to be the highest rate, or rather ranking high in infections or spread of coronavirus, had challenged the PTF and the federal government as well to say, show me one person, show us one infected person, or show us one fatality, and then we'll drop our case. We'll get to that discussion when we return from this short break. I'd like to say a very big thank you to Mrs. Adeyemo Folashade. I got it right this time around. What's the name of your school?
Precious Seed.
Precious Seed School. Okay. What's your final word before I let you go?
I just want to appeal to the government. That is the major reason why we're here. I want to appeal to the government to look into the future of these children by allowing them to resume. They should reopen the school and allow the examination to flow.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Viewers, we would like to take a very short break. When we return, we'll be back here with Mrs. Isibo Bolanle, who's also waiting to join us, and Mr. Ayodele Chukwuma Isibo as well. Did I say Isibo Bolanle?
Yeah, Iboro.
Iboro Bolanle. Yes, she's waiting to join us. Just stay tuned to the program as we take this break and return.
From Lagos
To London. From Johannesburg
For several years, our economy
to the United States.
Identifying houses of worship.
we have all the world covered for you, no matter where you are.
Love with News is at the heart of it all. Giving you our perspectives of stories behind the story.
The signs given to us for the entry of these things are before us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us on this station.
It's 3,653 days snowballed into 10 years of victories, 10 years of impact, 10 years of beauty, 10 years of excellence, and 10 years of successes. Thank you, our dear esteemed partners. You made the years worth its while. For your unflinching support, your seeds of love, for standing with us through and through. Thank you. It's our festival of lives.
All right, welcome back straight into discussions as we have Mrs. Bolanle Iboro joining us. She is the NAPS representative from Magboro as the NAPS coordinator in Magboro. She's joined Mr. Ayodele Chukuma Isibo, NAPS PRO Obafemi Owode. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good.
Good afternoon, first.
Now, I know you've been itching to say a thing or two. Having sat back listening to your colleagues, let's take it from your own point of contribution.
Yes. When we were here earlier today, there was something we were saying that we want to believe that our government melts well, and I'm still saying that. But then, when you look at this issue of cancellation of WAEC, it's uncalled for. Because one, the guidelines has already been recommended. And I don't think it's something difficult for any private school to hold on to maintain. Now, if it is an issue of social distancing, I was telling you earlier today behind camera that it's so easy. There are many things that could be done. We have public infrastructure everywhere, public facility. And the government, we all know, at least, there is this opportunity whereby some of these infrastructure facilities, like we have worship centers, some of our religious camps, either Islam camp or Christian camps. And we have so many of our public schools that definitely are not in use now. If our government is bothered about social distance as they are clamoring for, then this infrastructure can be used for this examination. Because I want to tell us here, the private schools are being held back, not for anything, but because of our public school. Yes, because when you get to the state of our public school in Nigeria is so bad that there is no way, even if schools should be run twice in a day, the social distancing
In public schools.
yes, will still not be maintained. So that is the reason. So let our government look into it. Except, what I seem not to understand, maybe education has turned to a battlefield where our government officials
Bring
and
their
everybody
political
want
battles.
to prove points. That is it. And another thing is, I said it in the morning that we are considering so many things, but there's an important thing where we are not putting into consideration. The kills that are involved. It's a matter of time.
The girls.
The girl's child, even the male child. You know, at times we have so much focus on girls. Our boys are the receiving end too. In my own area, you see them as early as 10, they are on the field, till 6, till mother call, because many of their parents are not home. So what are we trying to say here? Government should please come up with a policy that will allow the children go back into the classroom. I know the misconception here is that school owners, we are broke, we're hungry. That's why we are clamoring for remodeling of school. Yes, but I believe you agree with me because we are a stakeholder. We have never heard of it that a school owner is dead by the roadside or because of hunger. There will always be a way out. But let's consider these children. We are lagging behind as a country in
Hold your
education.
thoughts. Let's take our first caller on the show. Who's live to us? Welcome to the show. Who's live to us?
Hello?
Welcome. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Hello?
We can hear you. Can you hear us? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear us? Welcome to the show. Okay, so we'll let you go. If you're still watching us, call us back. We didn't catch your name or where you're calling us from, but do call us back. There might be some problems from your own side, but do call us back. Numbers to call are up on your screen. We're talking about the continuous shutdown of schools by the federal government as members of the private sector when it comes to schools in Nigeria are insisting that schools should be open, public or private, if the government has issues with public schools and maintaining social distancing and the infrastructures required to ensure the spread of coronavirus is contained, then that should be looked into. This is the opinion of the private sector in schools in Nigeria. Another caller is live to us. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Carl Umeworo is my name.
Carl.
And I'm calling from Abuja.
Carl from Abuja, welcome to the show. What's your contribution, Carl?
Oh, yes, thank you, Marshal. It is very, very unfortunate that the society is facing what it's facing presently. But it's very, very essential that people must understand what is actually on ground. It is very strange that you go out and hear people saying there is no pandemic, there is pandemic. But then they also believe that this same pandemic overseas. Now, the issue on ground is about lockdown of schools in Nigeria.
Yes.
Those that are actually criticizing federal government policy, they are possibly not aware that United Nations Children's Fund, which is actually the body concerning children all over the world. In Nigeria, their office is on lockdown. They shut down because of this pandemic. Federal government did not close down schools or any facility because it wants to victimize anybody. And they did not do place the lockdown because coronavirus have been killing people like overseas or everywhere. What the lockdown they put in place is merely a preventive measure to avoid the affection taking over the society. I am happy you are aware that as of yesterday, some states in the United States of America are going back to lockdown, second phase of lockdown.
Carl, if you can hear me, Carl, I'd like to ask you a question.
Yeah, I'm with you.
What the members of NAPS are saying is vis-a-vis the statistics on ground based on fatalities and infected victims of the coronavirus, the realities currently on ground, and the continued lockdown of schools and keeping these children away from institution of moral grooming, would you say that they marry? Would you say that they tally?
Well, they don't actually tally if you look at it from a different perspective. But then you should also understand the number of infections so far, it has not actually gotten like overseas. But in Nigeria, we are talking about here, the population is actually very minimal, which is we are very happy over that. Now, looking at the lockdown on schools for it, this thing, the lockdown is not a perpetuality. The essence of the lockdown is for authorities to put in place measures while they continue to ease the lockdown.
All right,
There
Carl.
is no lockdown school, the school will remain permanent.
Okay, Carl, I'll have to let you go here. We've heard your contributions. Let's allow for others to call in and contribute. Carl is talking about statistics, number of infected persons. And I wanted to bring up that discussion we had where you said a particular council or a particular region.
It's a trending video where I think still in Ogun State,
Okay.
Odeda people's Ado said they want to meet the governor over issue of lockdown of churches, mosques, and school. And they said they have some data to back themselves up. It's a trending video.
Okay.
But let me also...
They were agitating against the lockdown.
Against the lockdown.
What were their points?
Their point were statistics currently does not support it. And that was what Carl said. He said something, he said, thank God we don't have that statistics. Let me take you back, sir.
Idly, hold your thoughts. You know how it is on this show. People are watching from all over the world. Would like to know who is live to us. Where are you calling us from?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Turn down the volume of your TV. Let's have your contributions. Name, location, very quickly.
I'm calling from Ibeno.
You might need to speak up, sir. Okay, we would let you go. Call back, please. When you're calling, please turn down the volume of your TV and do try to speak up so we can hear you in the studio.
Yes,
Shoot.
like I said, statistics. Outside, within the Tropic of Capricorn and Tropic of Cancer, specifically tropical region of the world, we've been very lucky. Apart from Brazil, for many reasons, because the South American continent is a narrow continent, the cold current and the warm current meets, and of course the temperature, ambient temperature in the South American continent, right now, when it's very cold, it's about 7 degrees, which is still within the data sheet for this virus. This virus can survive below 26 degrees. We've been lucky, maybe we're lucky, in Africa, we have higher temperature. That's not the only thing. We also have enormous ultraviolet light, which actually kills viruses normally. Humidity is there, many things is there. Yes, we have seen it even in Ecuador. Dead bodies in the street, yes, we saw it. Even in the...
Hold your thoughts, sir. Who is live to us? Where are you calling us from?
Hello, good afternoon.
We can hear you loud and clear. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Reginald. My name is Reginald Ekayon. I'm calling from Abuja.
Welcome. Your contributions in 60 seconds.
Thank you. I want to mention the particular issue of hospitals recording every death now of COVID-19. The question is, and they are getting paid to do these things. Now, the question is, what is the motive for doing this? The person who is bringing the money, what is the aim? If you look at it critically, you will see that the whole thing is a sinister agenda.
Okay.
They are working hard to build up the figures.
Okay.
So that they can begin to implement their agenda.
All right. Thank you very much, Reginald. They're very, very vital and crucial points there. the numbers, hospitals recording every death as coronavirus, but we'll get into that after your point here.
Yes, so like, I still want to...
For every point, you need to, double up so we can ensure that we wrap this in part 2.
Okay. Yeah, we're wrapping up. Like what I also said, most of this, like, let me also take you back to data. Oxfam published. Oxfam said most Nigerians will likely die more of hunger than
coronavirus if we continue the shutdown. Let's hear from this caller. Where are you calling us from, sir? Who is live to us? Where are you calling us from? Okay, UNICEF said...
UNICEF, specifically mentioned in Nigeria, says for every one corona death, for children, there is another 950 children who are going to die of other preventable diseases. Let me be frank with you. Like I said the last time, and each time I want to say, I always have good pimples.
Hold your goosebumps now. Let's hear from our caller. Who is live to us?
Okay, this is Fence Uwa, calling from Benin.
Uwa from Benin.
Yeah.
Your contribution in 60 seconds.
Okay, I just feel like the whole people are just blind. People are stupid. They are not seeing the reality. They are not the same. You say people should go to churches, okay, which is very good. People should go to the malls. People should go to the marketplaces. Everybody do everything, but don't go to school. I don't understand. The people I meet in school, I don't know the people I'm meeting elsewhere. I don't know the people I'm playing football with in the field. I don't know the people I'm entering the buses with. I don't know the people I'm traveling with. I don't know the people I meet every day. So is it that the coronavirus is waiting for them in their classrooms? Or something that we don't know. So I don't know. It's stupid. It's so stupid.
Oh, thank you very much from
And I will just thank God for a man of God that, yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I thank God for a man of God for giving us the insight, giving us exposure, and giving us the word of God. So, because at a time like this, when you feel like people should have sex, you discover that people that really have sex are not even available anymore. Common sense is not longer common, because this thing you don't even need your brains to calculate it. You don't even need wisdom too much. You just need one dot of sense, or some sense.
Uwa, thank you very much.
But people are not using it. I don't get it.
I did say Uwa seems to be he seems to be enraged there. Vital thing he said, is it that the coronavirus is waiting for these children in the classrooms? But point of correction, Uwa, you did say that the government is saying you can open up churches, open up mosques. Religious houses are still under lock and key by the federal government, especially in Lagos State. Yes, but we have some other states taking it upon themselves to go ahead to give, if you may, liberty and leverage to other religious organizations to operate at their will. But Lagos State is still shut down. Let's hold the call for 60 seconds. Okay, let's take this call. We'll have another caller. Who's live to us before I get back to... Who's live to us?
Good afternoon. This is Lawrence Day speaking.
Okay, have you turned down the volume of your TV?
Yes, I've done that.
Go ahead, your contribution. Where are you calling us from?
No, I'm calling from Akwa Ibom.
From Akwa Ibom. Go ahead, sir.
Now, my point is this. When you give responsibility to someone that never craved for, do you think it's going to have value for it? The answer is no. This is entirely wickedness of the highest order. Doesn't mean this virus are just by the school or in the school, or are these children carrier of this virus? What about the marketplaces? Can we compare the traffic we have in the market and school? You can't do that. So to me, it's wickedness. It's wickedness. So there's no way they're going to coin it. It's wickedness. We should just know that this is wickedness.
Thank you.
After all, where are the children? They are somewhere else. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ma'am.
It is well.
You had to sigh heavily.
The president, the problem we're having here is our government is taking caution. But when you take caution without consultation, there will surely be problems.
You did say that it was unfortunate right after the morning show, you were talking and you said that it was unfortunate that one problem you think that the PTF is having is they do not have representatives. Go ahead, please.
I'm coming there. That's why I said caution without consultation is a problem. Look at the PTF, the Presidential Task Force, that's supposed to be the best advisor to the presidency on this matter. I believe every other sectors are included, but educational sector and religious sector, go and find out.
They are not part of the PTF.
They are not part of the PTF. Now, if it is not affecting education is not there.
And religion.
Yes, and that is why they are the two that are suffering the consequence of COVID-19. Yes, we know COVID-19 is real. The pandemic is a global health crisis, no doubt about that. But the question is, if this has remained, if it's going to be with us till next year, till the next 2 years, obviously it's going to be like malaria. Does that mean schools will remain closed?
Or religious houses remain?
Will religious houses remain shut down? That's why I said our government is taking caution, but the consultation is not there. And there is tendency that we are not going to have positive results. Now, think about parents that have paid for WAEC. Some of them, they've paid for first term, second term. Will you tell them to repeat next year?
Now that's the agony of parents on the one hand, but Mr. Ayodele was emphasizing the agony of staff, teachers on the other hand, and as well as school owners. No palliative whatsoever from government. Mr. Statistics is back to his books again.
Let me take you back to statistics. So far up to now, U.S. government has spent $2.4 trillion on palliative measure. Since March, especially, I want to talk more of private school now. That's my purview. That's what I know. No private school teachers are being paid. They go to the same market. That's why I say when I
hold on. When you say the American government has spent what it has spent on palliative,
trillion,
that includes palliative for education stakeholder.
Everybody in America.
Yes.
In fact, they're even saying they are going to do another 2.4 trillion, which Congress wants to debate on. But I can tell you, if there's any private school teacher who had gotten one kobo from our government, whichever government, please, let's know. And we're going to the same market. I just told you that...
Let's have this caller. Who's live to us? Where are you calling us from? Welcome to the show. What's your name? Where are you calling us from?
This is Justina from Ogun State.
Justina, you have 60 seconds. From Ogun State, you say?
Okay. It is clear that what happened is calculated against the future. The school and the church are the number one institution we have. So for this matter to be against the school and against the church shows that it is satanic. Thank God for a man of God. Because of the word of God it has revealed to us concerning this, we have won.
All right. Justin, I didn't get where you're calling us from.
Edo State.
Edo State. Thank you very much. Yes. You said no teacher has been said to have, yet, no teacher or school owner has been said to have died or been infected with the coronavirus.
So far, we have not seen any. And that's why we said we are safer than the people outside. Let me tell you one of the reasons. All school body, NAPS, had met. And I keep saying it. The only thing that human being has gotten up till now for social distancing is exam. There is no exam that students will not be at least 1 or 2 meters apart. In an exam, nobody talks. But we also had gone a lot more further. The guideline that government gave, we as a body, we have reacted. We've even gone far beyond that. What do? When you are in school, you must have mask. When you're in school, we even have face shield that we even fashion, so that kids will love it. Kids, once you see something dazzling, they want to wear it, colorful. We have done most of those things. And with social distancing also in place. And coupled with the fact that even if you look at it right now, schools are not on. Well, a lot of kids are going to lesson in many places. The person that is teaching them lesson, do you know if he's already infected? We don't know.
And there is no organization that is maybe backing that person? Because most of these teachers, even from these schools, they just go into parents' houses now.
Oh yes,
you know,
they go into parents' houses
without having any institutional backing.
Exactly. What do you do? Somebody who has not earned salary for 5 months, an hungry man will find his way out.
Sure.
River will always find his course.
Mr. Ayodele Chukwuma Isibo, it's been a wonderful time with you. We started off on Monday with the Part 1 series as we discussed the continued shutdown of schools by the federal government. We emphasized how it might not be the best of ideas in the interest of the future generational leaders. And also we lamented the decision of the federal government not to have taken into cognizance measures put in place by the private sector in terms of allowing children to come back and be in a contained environment where coronavirus might not thrive or spread. And Mrs. Iboro, Bolanle, it's been a wonderful time with you, though you just came in the Part 2 series, but we are all hoping that in no distant time, this would all come to an end. If I give you 30 seconds, would you give your last statement without statistics?
Yes.
Please do.
All I want is the Minister of Education to look at it. We said you are a father. We know. We know you meant well, yes. But on this coronavirus issue, it's like killing a fly with a sledgehammer if you don't allow our students to actually go and do the WAEC. Let me also tell you, Mr. Minister, many people are of the thought from next year that they will not want to register their students in Nigeria again for WAEC. I'm sure you know that. And also, we are teacher, we are parents. We are still large in number. We see no 2023 is election period. We are your biggest candidate. What you do for us today, we'll remember in 2023. Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. Yes. I know we are going back to school by next week.
Ziboro, your final words.
Yes, finally, as my colleague has rightly said, if we want to continue to maintain closure of school, it's good.
That's your camera there.
But let's think about it. What happened to these children we think we are protecting? Are they really saved? Let's consider that. Because posterity will judge. Whatever we do today, in the next 10 years, we are going to repeat. I rest my case.
Posterity will indeed judge. I want to say a very big thank you, Mrs. Bolanle Iboro and Mrs. Adeyemo Folashade, who was here earlier on. A very big thank you to Ayodele Chukwuma Isibo, all of whom are representatives from NAPS. NAPS is the National Association of Proprietors and Proprietors of Private Schools in Nigeria. They are lamenting that the government should lift the ban on opening schools. Remember, this is News Focus. Whatever is in the news, making the rounds on the front pages of the tabloid, we would be here to bring you in-depth analysis, discussion, sometimes heated debate on these discussions. Join us same time next week as we bring you another interesting edition. My name is Marshall Anthony Onoye. God bless you.